सद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की, हरि नाम संकीर्तन की, Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you who have found their time on Sunday evening and who have came for today's class. We request you all to please be present in all the sessions that are held. Okay. So today we will be going through Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, text number 24. वेदा जिनके पास नहीं है, they can type in the phone Google में, और को please help them जिनके पास नहीं है, just check once. So all of you know, right? We are currently on which chapter? We are on third chapter of. हो गया प्रभु? We found the verse. Right. So we are on chapter 3, text number 24. Okay. We'll recite together. Utsideyurime loka nakuryam karma chedaham Shankarasya cha kartasyam उपहन्यमिमः प्रजा उत्सिदेयोरिमे लोका नाकुर्यं कर्म चेदहम् शंकरस्य च कर्तस्याम् उपहन्यामिमः प्रजा उत्सिदेयोरिमे लोका नाकुर्यं कर्म चेदहम् शंकरस्य च कर्तस्याम् उपहन्यामिमः प्रजा. Anybody would like to recite this verse?
उत्सिदेयोरिमे लोका नाकुर्यं कर्म चेदहम् शंकरस्य च कर्तस्याम् उपहन्यमिमः प्रजा
उत्सिदेयोरिमे लोका नाकुर्यं कर्म चेदहम्
शंकरस्य च कर्तस्याम् उपहन्यामिमः प्रजा. उत्सिदेयोरिमे लोका नाकुर्यं कर्म चेदहम् शंकरस्य च कर्तस्याम् उपहन्यमिमः प्रजा.
Okay, so we'll read Directly the translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living entities. Varna Shankara is unwanted population which disturbs the peace of the general society. In order to check this social disturbance, there are prescribed rules and regulations by which the population can automatically become peaceful and organized for spiritual progress in life. When Lord Krishna descends, naturally he deals with such rules and regulations in order to maintain the prestige and necessity of such important performances. The Lord is the father of all living entities, and if the living entities are misguided, indirectly the responsibility goes to the Lord. Therefore, whenever there is a general disregard of regulative principle, the Lord Himself descends and corrects the society. We should, however, note carefully that although we have to follow in the footsteps of the Lord, we still have to remember that we cannot imitate Him. Following and imitating are not on the same level. We cannot imitate the Lord by lifting more than Him, as the Lord did in His childhood. It is impossible for any human being. We have to follow His instructions, but we may not imitate Him at the same time, at any time. The Srimad Bhagavatam 10.33.30 and 31 affirms, Naitat samachare jatu manasapi hi anishvara vinasyasati acharan modyat yatharudo abhujam visham ishvaranam vacha satyam tathaiva varchitam kvachit tesham yatvavacho yuktam buddhimam tat samachare. One should simply follow the instructions of the Lord and His empowered servants. Their instructions are all good for us, and any intelligent person will perform them as instructed. However, one should guard against trying to imitate their actions. One should not try to drink the ocean of poison in imitation of Lord Shiva. We should always consider the position of the Ishwaras, or those who can actually control the movements of the sun and the moon, as superior. Without such power, one cannot imitate the Ishwaras, who are super powerful. Lord Shiva drank poison to extent of swallowing an ocean. But if any common man tries to drink even a fragment of such poison, he will be killed. There are many pseudo devotees of Lord Shiva who want to indulge in smoking ganja, marijuana, and similar intoxicating drugs, forgetting that by so imitating the acts of Lord Shiva, they are calling death very near. Similarly, there are some pseudo devotees of Lord Krishna who prefer to imitate the Lord in his Rasa Leela, or dance of love, forgetting their inability to lift lower than Him. It is best, therefore, that one not try to imitate the powerful, but simply follow their instruction, nor should one try to occupy their post without qualification. There are so many incarnations of God without the power of the Supreme Godhead. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauradvishe Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So since many of you were not there in the previous class, how many of you were there in the previous class? No. You were there in the previous class? पिछली क्लास में आप थे? नहीं थे. So in the previous class we discussed something related to today's shloka. So just to establish some connect, right? I'll just recap it in couple of minutes and then we can proceed ahead to today's shloka. So in today's shloka there are a couple of important words. Did anyone notice some words, some important words? ये सब लोग कल के मैच के इसमें बैठे हैं. Tomorrow there is match, right? See, everybody knows. But what is spoken in this verse, nobody knows. So you know Chaitanya Prabhu, what is spoken in this verse? Any word that you felt is resonating or that I have heard somewhere?
अगर मैंने कर्म नहीं किया तो ये लोग ये
ठीक है, वेरी नाइस. एनीवन एल्स? आपको पढ़ के उसमें से कुछ ऐसी कोई एक वर्ड है जो आपको बैठ गया है, आपको याद है अभी तक? कर्म कर्म तो नहीं था उसमें. ठीक है. एनीवन एल्स? संदेश को? नो.
The thing is that we have to follow what
Okay.
God says,
Okay.
not question.
Danish Prabhu, you any word that you found interesting in this shloka or that you मतलब आपको याद हो गया? पढ़ के ऐसे कुछ होता है ना, when you read something you remember something. Okay. So when I read this verse, there was one important line that I found that Lord Shiva drank poison. That's why we should also not try to drink that or imitate that. Correct? Now, so just to establish some connect in today's verse and in the previous verse, let me give some background, right? So we know Arjuna wanted to fight, but he is not fighting, right? He is afraid of fighting. So what Krishna is trying to do? The verse number 22, verse number 23 and 24, Krishna is trying to establish himself as an example, right? Krishna gave example about Janak, Krishna gave example about the great leaders, that whatever they do, common man follow their path. Now, just to make this message more clear or more understanding, Krishna gave an example of himself. Krishna said, "Name parthasti kartavyam, trishu lokeshu kinchana, na anavaptam avaptavyam, vartaiva cha karmana." Krishna said to Arjuna that, "O Arjuna, there is no need for me to fight, but still I am fighting." So the question comes, why Krishna is fighting? Correct? If let's say you are a person and if somebody asks you, "Prabhu, that you are not working, so why are you not?" I mean, you are saying that there is nothing for you to get or you don't need anything, but still you are performing a duty. Why are you doing that? Because normally when we see around us, somebody works for something to get something. Correct? Have you ever seen someone who is just working just to work? He is not concerned about the result that he gets. Have you seen someone like that? No. Anybody we see. Right? Anybody across, whether it's in a job, in a college, or even when we come from home to the temple, we see people are busy doing some activity through which they get something. Correct? So Krishna is giving an example of himself that, Arjuna, you are supposed to fight, but you are still saying that I won't fight. But see me that मुझे कुछ there is no work for me, but still I am engaged in my duties. So how can we understand that? We understand this by seeing the life of Krishna. Right? So we all know that Krishna lived in Vrindavan. Krishna did some activities in Vrindavan. Then when he grew up, he fought with Kamsa. Right? When he fought with Kamsa, what happened? He defeated Kamsa, and then he made his grandfather-in-law as the king of Mathura, Ugrasen. Right? So what we learn from this? We learn from this that Krishna did his duty. Although he said there is no duty for me, but Krishna did his duty. And what is his duty? Whenever glani happens, right? What is the shloka? Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya latmanam srijamiham paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkrita dharma sansthapanadaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So whenever there is some issue or there is some problem with religion or there is irreligion, so to say, then what happens? Then Krishna descends on this planet. And then Krishna ensures that everything is on right track. For example, in a company, if something unpredictable happens, ऐसा कुछ चीज हो गया that is not being able to, that the lower employees are not being able to solve that problem. होता है बड़ी बड़ी कंपनी में ऐसा इशू, इफ यू सी कोई कार की कंपनी में रहेगा, that they are creating the parts, they are building a car, but suddenly something happens that even they are not able to figure out how they are going to solve that. Then what happens? Some senior person comes and helps them to solve that problem. So in the same way, when the glani happens, when the irreligion become prominent, at that point of time, Krishna takes his birth and Krishna ensures that everything is in line, everything becomes smooth. Okay? So this was regarding one of the example that we see in Krishna's life, right? When he was in Mathura. When he was in Mathura, he killed Kamsa and then he made Ugrasena as the king. And it is mentioned that he used to pay obeisances on to Ugrasena. Right? If you will see from a practical point of view, he is a god. He is God, he is supreme God. But still he is paying obeisances. Why? Just to show the human that we have to respect the leaders of the society. Right? Because if Krishna won't do that, then what will happen? ये example हाँ. So now we have an example, right? Krishna was paying obeisances to the Brahmana, so that's why we are also following. Human beings are also following that thing. It is in continuation. But if you would hear something like Krishna ने तो Brahman को कुछ किया ही नहीं, he didn't respect the Brahman, then what will happen? You will also follow that. You won't follow, you would imitate that. Right? Prabhupada, that's why I mentioned two important things in this sloka, right? Following and imitation. Following is something has said you to do something, you are following that instruction. But imitation is to do exactly what the other person is doing. When you go into a company and you see that a CEO has came from US, and what CEO is doing? He is just chilling on his chair. He is doing nothing. And you as an employee, you are working on this thing, desktop. And then you get an idea कि यार मतलब he is a CEO, he is enjoying, I should also imitate him. So what do? You remove the desktop, you put your legs on the table and you just sit like this. You want to enjoy the aura. What you are trying to do? You are trying to imitate the CEO. Then what will happen? No work. Then there will be resignation. They will ensure that you are out of the company. Why? Because you are doing an imitation. So whenever we imitate, that's why in the Shastra there are two words that are described. All of us should know this thing. One is Anukarana and one is Anusarana. Anukarana means to do exactly what that person is doing. And Anusarana is to follow that person. For example, Prabhupada. Prabhupada went in Jalduta, right, and he suffered 2 heart attacks. We'll say that नहीं प्रभु मेरे को भी अमेरिका जाना है, मैं भी जलदूत में जाऊँगा, कार्गो शिप में, और मैं भी 2 heart attack लूँगा. So you think you will be able to survive? It's very difficult. Correct? कोई ऐसे in very big countries you see tsunamis are coming, right? So there are very VVIP people who can easily get out of this thing, tsunami. A helicopter will come, they take them and they'll be able to go away from that country. But you as an individual will say, no, I'll also try that. Let me jump into the tsunami and let me see who will come to save me. So is anybody going to come to save you? No. Even your neighbor don't know you, who exactly you are. Right? So that's why imitation is a very dangerous thing. That's why we have to follow the instructions of Lord Krishna. And the perfection of our life is actually in following the instruction of Krishna. Krishna, that's why says this thing that ये में मतम इदम नित्यम अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवः श्रद्धावान अनुसूयन्तो मुच्यन्ते ते अपि कर्मणि. Krishna says that whatever message that I am giving in Bhagavad Gita, if anybody is following that instruction, he will not be binded up by the work that he is doing. Right? In the later chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks the same thing. Krishna is telling us to read the scriptures and follow the scriptures. यह शास्त्र विद्धि मुत्सर्जा वर्तते कामाकारतरः नास सिद्धिम अवाप्नोति ना सुखम ना परम गतिम. He is saying that any person who is not following the scriptures, यह शास्त्र विद्धिम उत्सर्जा, who is not doing that, who is not following the scriptures, and he is doing work according to his own whims, he cannot attain perfection in his life, he cannot be happy, and he cannot know about his final destination in life. ठीक है. So we cannot be perfect. Perfection we cannot achieve. We cannot be happy in this life, and we cannot know the final destination if we don't follow or read the scripture. जब हम शास्त्र नहीं पढ़ेंगे तो हम ये नहीं जान पाएंगे कि हमारा परफेक्शन, जो परम गंतव्य जीवन का क्या है, फाइनल डेस्टिनेशन क्या है हमारे लाइफ का, और हैप्पीनेस, हमारा सुख. एंड वन मोर थिंग, व्हाट वाज दैट? Perfection. Now, so we were discussing about what? We were discussing about Lord Krishna when he was in Mathura. He performed his activity. He killed Kamsa, and he made Ugrasena the king of Mathura. Now we see the same sort of activity when Krishna was in Dwarka. How many of you have read Krishna book completely? Complete Krishna book. How many have read? Pura. You have read it, right? So there is a chapter, Krishna the Ranchod. There Prabhupada right? Why Krishna went to Dwarka? 17 times. Krishna defeated whom 17 times? Batao. Chaitanya bro. Jarasandha. Right? He defeated Jarasandha 17 times. And when the 18th time when he was about to attack the city, Krishna thought it is better to run away from here. Now it is going to be more ghastly warfare, because 17th time अगर आप समझो अक्षौणी सेना होती थी, वो अक्षौणी सेना का गिनती if we do will be amazed by that. उसमें एलिफेंट की, there are lakhs and crores of elephant, lakhs and crores of horses, artillery इतने बड़े बड़े. So you just imagine that 17 times that sena is coming, अक्षौणी सेना, and every time it is getting defeated. So what happens eventually? Mathura, धीरे-धीरे Mathura का the manpower that Krishna had, right, it eventually reduced. And when at the 18th time, when Jarasandha came to kill Krishna, then Krishna thought it is better to go away and ensure that all the people are safe. That's why what he did? He established. What did he establish? Dwarka. Right? He ran from there and established Dwarka. Right? When he was in Dwarka, it was said that city was established by Vishwakarma. So Vishwakarma came. He is a god of infrastructure and all. Architect. He is the architect. So God के उसमें भी there are different divisions. We think कि हमारे human में कि we are clearing an exam of matter, we are able to become an architect. But that's incorrect. In the kingdom of demigod, in the kingdom of heaven also, you see there are everything. Even we have doctors, Ashwini Kumar, the brothers, who are expert doctors, right? And there you don't need to go under an operation theatre for 5 days, फिर आप ventilator पे रहोगे, then फिर वो saline चढ़ाएंगे. That won't happen. They'll just give you a mantra, and the moment you will chant that mantra, in some time you will get cured. Right? So then Krishna went to Dwarka, and when Krishna went to Dwarka, we see that Dwarka was established in, still now also if you will see, I am not sure how many of you have went to Dwarka? Dwarkadishka temple, anybody has went? We have Dwarkadish, we have Somnath, Balka Tirth, a lot of temples are there. So in Dwarka is a region, if you will see, that is 96 miles. 96 miles big, that is. Kilometer में कितना होगा? 1 mile is? ठीक है. बाद में calculation you can do homework. So 96 mile big kingdom. And within that big kingdom, how many wives he had? 1, 2, 3, कितना? 16,000 and 16,000 was 16,108. So of that 16,108, 108 are the important queens. Out of that 108 important queens, 8 are the important queens. Out of that 8, 1 is the important queen, that is Queen Rukmini. Right? So 8 queens, Krishna already married. Rukmini, Satyabhama, Kalindi, and so on and so forth. There are more 5 or 6 that are there. Now the question comes, a lot of people ask, when we go out or when we even go for book distribution, you will show them Krishna book. They'll ask, तुम्हारा कृष्ण तो 16,000 रानी के साथ शादी कर लिया था. ये तो गलत है. You should not be doing this. आता है ना question? When you will hear something, you will be like, yeah, he is saying the right thing. So that was a different story. There was a Rakshas actually, whose name was Bhaumasur. It is said that Rakshas was so powerful at that time that what he did, गद्दी होती है, आपको पता है, राजगद्दी होती है. राजगद्दी के ऊपर ऐसा एक वो लगा रहता है, अम्ब्रेला एक छड़ी ऐसा लगा रहता है ना, चांदी का, सोने का, आप लोगों ने देखा होगा. So that Bhaumasur was so mischievous that what he did, he took away that umbrella of Varuna. Varuna is considered to be the deity of ocean, of the winds that are blowing from the western sky. He is considered to be the demigod of that, the presiding deity. So he took the umbrella, he took with him to his kingdom, Bhaumasur. And then what he did, he took the, ये तो कान का कुंडल होता है ना, earring. He took the earring of the mother of the demigods, जिनका नाम है अदिति. So Kashyap Muni and Aditi, he had two wives. One was Aditi and one was Diti. So Aditi से देवता आए हैं और Diti से आए हैं असुर. D for Diti, D for demons, right? And Aditi, A for Aditi, A for Adityas. So demigods are also known as Adityas. तो देवी देवता आए इन Aditi से. तो Aditi के पुत्र हैं, these are the Indra and all you see, right? Indra, Varuna, Chandra, all the demigods. These are considered to be as the son of Aditi. And what happened? He took the kundal of Aditi and he took that umbrella for Varuna. And then because of this, and he took many other things, he was creating so much mischief that people became very disturbed. Demigods became very disturbed by so-called his activities. And that's when Indra became frightened, because he thought that the next thing that is going is my seat. So he went to Lord Krishna, and at that point of time, Lord Krishna was in Dwarka. He was sitting, and beside him was Satyabhama. Prabhupada writes this, you can read this chapter. And then he told Krishna that, oh Krishna, there is a very big difficulty that we are facing. There is a demon known as Bhaumasur, or it is also called as Narkasur. There are a couple of names, right? तो आपका अकेले का दो नाम नहीं है, राक्षसों के भी दो तीन नाम होते हैं, ठीक है? So he had Bhaumasur. Then he told Krishna that, please save us. Otherwise, he is going to create raksas across the whole world. So then Krishna was said, okay, I will protect you. Because ultimately, what is the role of Krishna? To give protection. Adharma ho raha hai, to stop that adharma and to ensure that everything is happening on its own pace. So then Krishna went with Satyabhama to his place, Bhaumasur, and then he killed him. And then he saw that there were 16,100 women who were being caught by Bhaumasur. They were there in the prison. And when Krishna was leaving from that place, the name of the place starts from P something, Prayojana or something like that. So when Krishna was coming from that kingdom, they were like, now Krishna sees the thing is, we are being prisoned, we are being caught by some unknown person, some demon, now nobody is going to marry us. पहले के ज़माने में ऐसा होता था कि अगर कोई पुरुष किसी महिला को जो विवाहित नहीं है, if he has touched that girl, nobody is going to marry that girl again. It was so strict. The system was so strict at that point of time. So then they were like, now nothing is going to happen to us because we were under the prison of Bhaumasur. And now if we go out, nobody is going to take care of us. Nobody is going to marry us. So then Krishna, please help us. So then Krishna said that okay. Then Krishna married that 16,100 queens. Queens or per se the women that were being caught up by Bhaumasur. And it is said that for 16,100 sacrificial altar होते हैं. जब शादी होती है तो एक वो रहता है altar बराबर. वैसा अभी सोचो you are marrying 16,100 women. So can you be there? Can you be present for 16,100 women? एक जन के साथ एक दिन में फिर दो मैरिज. Just imagine it will take 16,100 days for you. Is it practical? It's not practical. Prabhupada gives an example that recently in one of the class Prabhupada says that there was a real person. There was a Mughal emperor in Lucknow who used to had 160 wives with him in reality. And Prabhupada said that for 160 wives he had created a park in Lucknow also. Still there is a park that is there. and that all 165 had different rooms. But he was not, he like Krishna, how Krishna was present with everyone. But that Mughal, since he had 165, 165, it was not possible for him to be present with everyone. So he used to visit one, then visit other, next one. So as 6 months would just take in visiting one this thing, wife. And one wife again would need to wait for 160 days to see that Srishti's husband. So that is when a conditioned soul lives his life. And how about Krishna? He had built that 16,108 palaces. And in every palace he was there. And in every palace he used to do his prescribed duties. Coming on to that, what Krishna says, right? That there is no duty but still I am engaged in that duty. So Krishna was still doing his duty. Of in the morning he used to get up, he used to take bath, he used to offer his oblations into the fire. So समय पे यज्ञ किया जाता था. Yajna he used to do, he used to chant the name. And then he used to give some charity to the Brahmanas. He used to give cows. Right? So he used to follow that principle, daily routine. Why? Just to establish this principle that if he won't follow that thing, then we also won't follow that as well. Correct? So this is one of the examples that we see from the Leela of Dwarka. How importantly Krishna established this principles of working. Right? Although he is independent, but still he needed to perform his activities just to show people. If you won't do, then what will happen? It will be very difficult for you. But when he was in Vrindavan, then it comes that there to Krishna didn't did any of his duty. There he enjoyed. He was a child. He was playing with his friends. Right? So that it is said that he during Vrindavana he was showing the love of praying. He was within that aura of praying. That's why he was not bounded up by these things. And the devotees, and the cowherd boys that was playing with Krishna, it is said that Itam Satam Brahma Sukanu Bhutya Dasyam Gatanam Paradevatena Maya Shritanam Naradarakena Kritam Vijaru Kritapunya Punja. It is said that the cowherd boys that used to play with Krishna, Satam Vijaru Kritapunya Punja. They used to have volumes and volumes of piousness. That's why वो साक्षात भगवान के साथ खेल रहे थे. अभी तो कोई खेलता नहीं है. Hardly you see any children that are playing these days, right? They are playing in their phone. But at that point of time, it was the aura was such. दरवाजे के बाहर जाओगे सामने there is a picture. Krishna and his cowherd was playing during autumn. Just read that chapter from Krishna book. You will be mesmerized by just reading the description of how Prabhupada equates autumn with the life that we are living. It is very nice chapter. I would request everyone to read that. Right? So just coming on to that part. So this part, right? This shloka that Krishna says that Name Parthasti Kartavyam. So Krishna is saying there is no duty for me, but still I perform my duty. That is clear. Now the next shloka, Krishna says that if I don't perform that duty, then what will happen? As the ignorant perform their duty. For if I fail to engage in carefully performing my duty, all men would follow my path. तो दो चीजें, ठीक है, थोड़ा ध्यान से. First thing was there is no duty for him, but still is performing his duty. And if Krishna won't perform duty, then what will happen? All people would follow his path. Correct? Now, with these two shlokas, one question can come onto the mind of in general people. Let's say that is, Krishna, you are saying that they are going to follow your path. वो सब आपका path follow करेंगे, आप जैसा कर रहे हैं. So, what is that path? मतलब अगर कृष्णा फेल हो जाएंगे अपने उसमें, if he is not समझो कि कृष्णा ये सब ड्यूटी परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहे हैं, and he is saying कि डिस्टर्बेंस क्रिएट हो जाएगा बाद में, तो क्या डिस्टर्बेंस होगा? क्वेश्चन आता है, इसके बाद कोई भी पढ़ेगा ये श्लोक. If anybody will read this thing, for if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. Now the question comes, what path that is? Right? So then, this question Arjuna had in his mind. And Krishna being present in everybody's heart, Sarvascha Cham Hridayasya Nivishto, Ishwar Sarva Bhutanam Hridayeshwar Dhanatishthati, he knew this thing. And that's why he spoke the verse number 24 that we read now. And what did he say? He said that if I don't perform my prescribed duties, then what will happen? Three things will happen. First thing is, the world will be put into ruination. Ruination का alternate word है destroy हो जाएगा. जो world है वो क्या हो जाएगा? Destroy हो जाएगा. Second thing, I would be the cause of creating unwanted population. जो आज हम लोग देखते हैं. We are seeing this, right? Unwanted, we see like there are family with 15 children, 10 children, and not just that. In general, if you see across, there are a lot of population that are there, but none of that people around us that we see, hardly anybody is interested in following what Krishna said. Right? Whom do we call an unwanted population? It is indicated by this word Varna Shankara. How many of you know what is the meaning of Varna?
Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra.
Right. Varna, ashram suna hai na, Varna ashram. Everybody has heard this word, right? So from there, this first word comes, Varna. Where Krishna says, right, Chatur Varnam, Maya, Srishtam, Guna Karma, Vibhagasa, Tasya Kartaram Apima, Vidya Kartaram, Abhyayam. Krishna says that this Varna is created by me. Right? Now, Varna, Shankara. Shankara means Mahashivaratri, Shankar Bhavan means. ठीक है सबके मन में वही चल रहा है महाशिवरात्रि बिल्कुल सब everybody is thinking like that. So Shankara is referred as mixture. It's referred as mixture or adulteration. Now we see how many have read first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Every one of us would have read Bhagavad Gita. First chapter सबने पढ़ा ठीक है. यहाँ पे वर्ड आता है याद है फर्स्ट चैप्टर में. There were 6 reasons that Arjuna gave away. One reason, 3 shloka define this thing. Talks about Varna Shankara. Kulakshay pranashyanti kulak dharma sanatana dharma naste kulam Krishna adharma avibhavati uta. Adharma avibhavati uta pradushyanti kulastriya strishu dushtasu varshneya jayate Varna Shankara. Shankaro narakayava kulagnanam kulasya cha patanti pitro yesham lupta pindodaka kriya. So Arjuna gives this reason that O Krishna, अगर आप स्टार्टिंग में दिया था उन्होंने कि अगर आप बोल रहे हो कि मैं भी लड़ाई कर लूँ and let's say if everybody is killed, then what will happen? This will lead to the generation of unwanted population because during that days when there used to be war, आज के ज़माने में भी it is very practical. You would have seen this thing. That majority of the crowd जो रहता है, these are young people, right? Young people or let's say somebody who is there within adulthood or 45 ऐसा age में. Beyond that, you are not allowed for the war. That's why if the in general people or the people that are present on that Kurukshetra ki bhumi, right, or the place where that fight is happening, if they are killed, then who will remain? Who will remain? Old age and children or women. यही है ना अगर आप एडल्ट को निकाल दो इफ यू रिमूव मेन फ्रॉम अ ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल तो whom do you find? You will find old age people, you will find children, and you will find women. Old age people, Chanakya Pandit says angam galitam palitam mundam dasha vihinam jatam dugdam vrutto yatri grihitva dandam tadapina munjatam asha pindam. The old age people, their teeth are falling down, their hairs are falling down, they are carrying a stick in his hand, right? But still their desires are not. They have some desire of enjoying. Right? And that old age people, if you tell them कि बंदूक लेके go out and fight, not possible for them. Then comes the child, the children. Children are already innocent. ठीक है. And अभी के ज़माने की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. During that time. And then comes the third section, women. Women, our scriptures talk about the woman that woman needs to be protected. She needs to be given an environment of protection. Right, that's why the scripture says that when the woman, she is in her childhood, she should be protected by her father. When she is married, she should be protected by her husband. And when she is married to her husband, and during that point of time, we used to have this system, brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyas. So when the husband, when he used to make a half century, That was the time when there was a need for him to go to Vanaprastha. And at that point of time, she was again alone. So then, who was supposed to take care of that woman? Husband. So our scripture says that in every aspect of life, for a woman, she has to be protected by these three categories of people. One is his father, husband, and son. Right? So if think about this, that if let's say there are people, Varna Shankara, there are people who are not following the rules and regulation, who are asuric, who are very dangerous to the society. If they are marrying a woman, so what will happen? Whatever son that they beget, that will be a trouble to the whole society. That's why Arjuna said this thing. Kulakshay Pradashanti Kulak Dharma Sanatana. That when this kul or this क्या बोलेंगे कुल को इंग्लिश में? कुल बोलते ना कुल or the lineage. Yes. So when the family lineage or when this जो भी family का परंपरा है, if that is being destroyed, Kulakshay Pradashanti Kulak Dharma Sanatana. If that will end, so what will happen? Ultimately, the religious activities will end. कि कोई रहेगा नहीं religious activity करने वाला. And what will happen during that point of time? Women will be free. They will mix with people. They will mix with the other boys or they will mix with the opposite sex. And what will happen eventually? Unwanted population will take place. Very prominent example is our current situation. In Kali Yuga, you see this thing, right? Even though they are not married, but they want to live in relationship, something like that, right? And even if they are living with someone, then it is very dangerous. Recently, I saw that there was one cricketer, I think, and he got divorced. And that wife is asking him to pay 60 crore rupees as an alimony. I don't know what that alimony is. Whoever that is, I don't want to take his name. Whoever that is, she has asked him to pay 60 crore rupees alimony. So just see, this is how dangerous this is in this society. Right? These are the unwanted population. So that's why how can we can reduce this part? Prabhupada says that this can be reduced by having a eloquent a leader who ensures that whatever population जो है या प्रजा, यहाँ पे वर्ड आता है ना प्रजा का मतलब ये नहीं होता है कि सिर्फ आदमी हो गया या वुमेन men, children and old age. This is not praja. Our Shastra says that praja means the living entities. Even if there is a kingdom, like Rajya hai samajhiye, and within that Rajya, everyone is a praja. Even if there is a small ant, there is a lizard, there is elephant, there are crocodiles, anyone, that is called as a praja. Praja means all living entities. So a leader of the society has to ensure that he is giving protection to everyone, not just male, female, or not just कि ये मेरे पहचान वाला है तो उसको सुविधा मिलेगी, बाकी अब बाद में, ठीक है. This is not the case of this thing, a definition of a leader. So in this verse, that's why these three things are mentioned. The first thing that Krishna talks about is destruction. The second thing Krishna talks about is Varna Shankara, which we discussed now, right? And the third thing is Upahanyam. Hanyam means to actually kill. Hanti ऐसा बोलते हैं. Hanti means to kill. So now, these three things that Krishna is destroying, just to provide that synonym of this word, one thing that Krishna is saying that if I don't perform my duty, people would follow my path. And what that part will be? First thing is destruction. It will lead to destruction. Destruction को क्या बोलेंगे? नाश हो जाएगा. जो संसार का नाश हो जाएगा. और ये नाश कैसे होगा? मरने से नहीं. तो बताया जाता है, if you think over it or if you try to understand it in a better way, you will see that what does destruction means. Destruction means essentially that you will die. Okay. But if you are not following what Krishna has said and you die, then what will happen? You won't die just in this life. You are as a soul, you know that avinashishu tadvidhi yena sarvam idam gatam vinashanam avayasya na kaschit kartum arhasi. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin. So we know that we are a soul, we are going to live eternally. So destruction means that after this life, this life you may die if you are not following the instruction of Krishna. Some or the other, we are going to waste our life. From the next life onwards, again we will be put into hell. Krishna says that in 16th chapter that who are envious of me. Enviousness means you are not following the instruction of Krishna. So what will happen? You will glide down to the lowest portion of the hell. One of the dangerous hell is known as Raurava. It is very dangerous. It is said that what they'll do, they'll take you, they'll put shackles around your neck. There will be a pathway. Desert. Desert होगा ना desert. गरम रेती होगी. गरम रेती पे you will be there, no clothes, nothing. And within your neck, there will be shackles. There will be that, with Yamara, there will be the other associates of him, will be carrying you. And you will be acting like a dog. In the same way. And you will be walking on a hot desert. Matlab that balu or the sand will be burning like anything. And on the other two sides, there will be fire. And within that heat, they'll tell you to go. They'll tell you to run. And they'll have a stick with them that will have spikes. And then if you would feel now, I want to drink water, they won't give you water. They'll again hit you. Again you will run for some time. Again you will rest. Again they'll hit you. Again you will go. And this way they'll take you to hell. There, if let's say the next life, if you are going to take as a hog means pig, sugar ho gaya aisa. So if let's say your destiny is like you are going to take a life of a pig, then within that hell, they are going to train you. They are going to give you the food that pig eats. They are going to train you, and then next life again they are going to send you to this planet. Shocking, right? This is what actually destruction means. So destruction means the destruction of the soul. You are destroying the soul. And in what way you are destroying? If you are not following the instruction of Krishna, and if you are thinking that I will imitate Krishna, Krishna ne Raslila ki, I will also do. Prabhupada very nicely, if you will read Krishna book, and even in Bhagavatam 3rd canto, 2nd canto, somewhere Prabhupada says, if you think that you can imitate Krishna in Raslila, then also be sure to lift a Govardhan hill once you are done with that. So if you are able to hold a Govardhan hill, all good. But if you are not there, you are a fool. So better not to imitate. किसको उठाना है पर्वत कुछ. अपना बैग ही कोई देखो कैसे लोग लेके आते बैग ही अपना घिस के लोग काम से देखे आते रहोगे तो लोग थक जाते एकदम. Right? मैंने तो देखा personally, I'm not sure if you have seen. When we come from office, we see that people are so much stressed with their work. और बैग भी कैसा तो they take it sometime like this, they'll keep it down. And you want to lift a Govardhan, that too with your left hand. Oh, right. So that's why imitation is not the solution. Following is the solution. So this was about destruction. The first point, right? There were 3 points. One is destruction. Second is Varna Shankara, correct. And the third one is killing. The word Prabhupada says Upahanyam. Right? Upahanyam means killing. Just on that Varna Shankara also, we were saying that mixed population comes, right? So mixed population we see these days about the Brahmanas also. Who are taking the birth in the body of like from their birth is like a Brahmana, but their activities are not like that. Correct. So that is also one of the examples that you can see. Now coming on to the topic of the Upahanyam. Upahanyam, Krishna says, Upahanyam ima praja, that I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. Right? And how can the peace of all living beings be destroyed? So here it might be these 2 words, right, that is used in this sloka, destruction and killing. Similar, almost similar. There is some difference. Destruction we saw, right, that in this life you will die, next time onwards you will be put into the more worse form of hell, and you have to continue your life from there. Now killing means in terms that when the rules and regulations are not followed, when the point 1 and point 2 are not followed, then what it will lead? It will lead to your killing. And what that killing is? Killing is not achieving the position of your life or your soul. The position of our soul is to go back home, back to Andheri. Go back home, back to Godhead. So if that is the position of your soul, or if that is the designation, like this, that is the final activity that you want to do in this life, by working at a platform of your soul, then you have to ensure that you are doing that first thing. First thing is to follow the rules and regulation, and the second thing is to chant the holy name of the Lord. In this verse, if you will see, ये जो श्लोक है ना 10.30, 3.30, see, यहाँ पे it is said, see, one should simply follow the instructions of the Lord and His empowered servants. So who is the empowered servant? Srila Prabhupada. Because of whom we are sitting here in this hall, right? Because of whom we are able to understand Bhagavad Gita, right? So even if you follow the instruction of Krishna and the instruction of His empowered servant, let's say there is some instruction of Krishna which is very heavy, to Sarva Dharman Parijana, to completely surrender on to, which we cannot do directly. So at least what we can do, we can follow the instructions of His empowered servant, that is Prabhupada. Right? There was one incident of Prabhupada that, it is said Prabhupada is so glorious. We have heard many stories. How, just by looking at Prabhupada or just by hearing about Prabhupada, people have become devotees. There is one incident that is very, it's very touching when I heard it for the first time, that when Srila Prabhupada was in JUHU, and when he was about to reach Boston Harbor, from his ship, Jaladuta ship, yaad hai sabko? When he was about to reach to Boston Harbor, that was the Boston Harbor when Prabhupada wrote his first poem, Boro Kripa Koilo Krishna Adhamerapati. That is a very nice poem, you all should hear sometime, or we have that in Vaishnava song book. Anyways, so when Prabhupada was there in that Jaladuta, he reached Boston Harbor. When he was about to reach Boston Harbor, so what happens usually is that whenever a flight, a train or a boat, whenever it is supposed to reach to its destination, there is some signaling that happens. You would have seen that, right? Flight bhi aayega to they do some signal, and then they ensure that everything is settled down, and then you are able to go out from that flight, from that train or from that ship. So during that point of time, there was this Mr. Pandya was the captain of the ship, Mr. Pandya. He was Prabhupada's, that person, Mr. Pandya took up Bhagavad Gita from Prabhupada. So he was very fortunate. Bhagavatam. He took Bhagavatam and he gave some money in terms of dollar to Srila Prabhupada. So what happened? When Prabhupada was there on that ship, Jaladuta, it was about to reach Boston Harbor, and as I told, right, there are some signaling that happens between the boat. So there was a boat that was coming from front, right, and there was a captain there who was supposed to go and take that boat to some other destination, and this boat was coming and that boat was going. Jaladuta was coming and the other boat was going. So now that captain, so earlier, pehle ke ship mein, abhi to things have changed a lot, but earlier how used to happen that if you want to do some signaling, the captain has to come out of the boat. He has to stand near that region, that top. Aisa boat ka if you see, there is this region, right, the upper part. So he has to stand on that upper part, and he has to just show his hand, or there used to be some cloth that he has to show, just to ensure that now we are going to take this boat away from the shore. Correct? So Prabhupada was there in that boat, and Pandya was the captain of that boat, and there was the other captain on that boat, and that captain was out of the boat. He was now standing and he was just waiting for the Mr. Pandya to come and just give the signal that now we have reached here, so you can go ahead with your boat and you can take it to the different destination. But it so happened that Mr. Pandya was a bit occupied and he was not able to go out. So meanwhile Prabhupada was chanting, and Prabhupada just in his saffron dress, if you would have seen, right, there is an image. In his saffron dress, Prabhupada just went out of that boat, and by looking this Prabhupada, that captain, he became very captivated by Prabhupada. He was like, just look at this person. He is so effulgent. The face is so effulgent, and the saffron robes that he was wearing, he became very motivated just by looking at Prabhupada. And then over the period of time, then what happened? Of course, he saw Prabhupada and he thought that Prabhupada is captain है boat के. तो हाथ दिखा के चली गई. Thought कि Prabhupada is only the captain. And then that person went with that boat, and Prabhupada went down to Boston Harbor, and then Prabhupada went to Borisky. It took a lot of time for Prabhupada. And then it so happened that after a couple of years, that captain who saw Prabhupada in Saffron Road on the boat of Jalduta, he was in Boston, he was in New York, and Prabhupada also reached New York, and then he wanted to know, and then he saw a pamphlet. He saw a pamphlet that Srila Prabhupada, and the photo was there of Prabhupada, he is going to give some discourse on spiritual aspect of life, something like that, on self-realization. So that's when it got clicked to him that this person I saw on a boat a couple of years back, and he was a captain. Now how is he? He's literally a spiritual teacher. How can it happen? And then he was very amazed. He was like, I want to, just go and hear his lecture, because he was very enthusiastic when he saw Prabhupada for the first time. Just by looking at the effulgence of Prabhupada, he became very motivated. So then what he did, he somehow or the other way, got that address of that matchless gift, right, 26th Avenue. And then he came to that class. He sat for that class, and after a couple of years, it is said that that devotee got initiated by Prabhupada. He became disciple of Prabhupada, and he joined full time to do service in the temple. So just by looking at Prabhupada. So we are more fortunate that we have the books, we have his audio. Right? So that's why in this age it is very important for us to take shelter of the holy name of the Lord and to chant the holy name of the Lord. Kali Kali Naam Rupe. Krishna is present in two primary aspects in this age. One is the holy name of the Lord. Kali Kali Naam Rupe Krishna Avatar. So Krishna is present in the form of his name. And there is no difference between Krishna and his name. And the other aspect Krishna is present is in form of scriptures. Krishna Sadhamo Pagate Dharma Jnana Divisa. So when Krishna left, he had left us with this imperishable knowledge, impeccable knowledge that we should read and apply in our life. And chant the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Anybody have any question? And just a request that who all have came today, please continue coming to these sessions, right? Because I'm not sure how important you feel about this session, but it is actually very important for you, right? So whoever are coming, we ensure them at least come for this session, even though you are not chanting. But still, please be present here. There is a request. You all are busy for some time, but still, whenever we should try our best to come on every Saturday.